Hello and welcome to Authentic Parenting. I am Anna Seewald. As part of our January celebration marking 10 years of the Authentic Parenting podcast, I've been spending some time revisiting meaningful episodes from the archives. Since the very beginning of the show, I have recorded a year-end reflection episode every year. In these episodes, I look back on the year, share favorite moments, and reveal the top 10 most downloaded episodes. Over time, this format has grown to include reflective questions, simple exercises, intention setting, a word of the year, and more. If you've been listening for a while, this will feel familiar. If you are newer to the podcast, these year-end episodes offer a meaningful way to witness the growth of the show while also inviting you to pause, reflect on your own year, and set intentions for what's ahead. I chose to share the 2017 year-end episode for a specific reason. For this 10-year anniversary, I am intentionally highlighting milestone and solo episodes rather than guest interviews, episodes that mark growth, change, and important turning points in the life of the podcast. If you've been listening throughout January, you may have noticed a gentle arc unfolding. We began the month with my personal message, followed by the 100th episode, the 200th episode, and a short 10-minute conversation with my 10-year-old daughter. Still to come are the 300 and the 400 episodes, along with a few other special ones from the archives. We'll close out the month with a special interview with me conducted by Dr. Laura Froyen, a dear friend, colleague, and occasional co-host many of you know and love. This 2017 episode is especially personal. You'll hear some behind-the-scenes moments, a few bloopers that still make me smile, and reflections I don't often share elsewhere. It also captures a real moment of transition for the podcast. I talk about what changed that year, the name, the intro, the music, the cover art, and how the show has continued to evolve. Thank you for being here, for listening, and walking alongside me in this journey. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to Authentic Moments, a podcast that gives you ideas and strategies for personal growth in the practice of parenting. This is the final episode after 2017. I am Anna Seewald, a parent educator who is passionate about personal development, living life authentically, and parenting from the heart. I help parents in the emotional job of parenting with a background in psychology and education, working with children for nearly 18 years. It was when I became a mom 9 years ago, I realized that it's parents who need help and support. And in order to help children, I can help parents. If you're a new listener, welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. On this show, we talk about the importance of gaining deeper self-knowledge, raising our awareness, elevating our consciousness, cultivating mindfulness, getting closer to our authentic self in order to support our children on that very same process of self-discovery. This is the final episode of 2017. I will be sharing with you how was the year for the podcast, what are some lessons I have learned, what are the top 15 most downloaded episodes, what are my favorite episodes. I will be sharing with you the episodes that impacted me personally, some bloopers, your definition of authenticity, a little surprise, and we will take a look at what's coming in the new year. Are you ready? Let's get started. I don't know about you, but I feel like the time is really flying by. It seems like it was just yesterday when I sat down to record the final episode of the 2016, which is, by the way, the least downloaded episode of the podcast. So I went back and listened to it, and it's not bad. In fact, I will encourage you to go back and listen to it yourself. In the past, I used to ask certain questions to my guests, and in that episode, I have compiled their answers to two of the questions. One of them was, if you had to go back in time, knowing what you know about motherhood, fatherhood, parenting, what would you say to yourself as a new mom, dad? And the second question is, what inspires you? So I have compiled their answers into one episode, and it's a really good one. I also share 4 lessons I have learned in that year and so much more. So go back if you're curious and take a listen. As I'm sitting today here in December recording this message for you, I feel like I'm always behind in time, 1 or 2 months behind. We just celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas, and we're getting ready for the new year, but I feel like I am just getting into the mood, into the spirit of celebrating those holidays, and I always feel behind. In prepping for this episode, I wanted to go back and listen to all of the episodes of 2017, but I really didn't have time for that. What I will do is I will scroll through my phone and say a few things about each episode, memorable things, funny things, fun things, nuggets I took from those episodes and share them with you. But I will also share with you the top 15 most downloaded episodes. So looking back, how was the year 2017 for the podcast? Number 1 is growth. I had many amazing guests. The podcast has grown. I have grown. The number of listeners have grown. The downloads have grown. And growth is a wonderful thing. And it's a place I want to live. I want to be. So thank you so much for taking this journey with me and learning and growing together. If you're a regular listener, then you know that I have changed the cover art, the logo for the podcast this year. Again, yes, I had changed it, I think 4 times since the podcast was born. But now I think we have a winner. I conceived that idea. I had that in mind for years. And finally, I have a winning logo and I just love it. I have a mug right now sitting on my desk with that logo on it with my tea. I have a Christmas ornament and I am very happy with it. And many of you have told me that you truly like the new logo. So that was a big change for the podcast. Another thing that is different about the podcast is the sound quality. And I don't know, I have not received any comments about the sound quality, but I personally notice a difference. I started working with a sound engineer, my editor, who edits the show and puts it together so you guys can have an awesome listening experience. So that was a big change for the podcast, and I couldn't be happier. When I went back to listen to the final episode of the 2016, I could hear the difference in audio quality, and it's a big one. Another big change this year was I connected with you, my listener, on a much deeper level. I received a lot of feedback. I have connected with many of you on Facebook. Many of you are in my private Facebook group. Many of you send me parenting questions. I have spoken with some of you on the phone. I have offered to many of you 30-minute phone sessions, and I even started working with some of you, which is amazing. And I can't be thankful enough for that privilege, for that opportunity to get to know you. I truly, truly treasure you and this amazing community that we have built around this podcast. And I can say with all honesty that I love my listeners. You guys are the best. I always say I have the most awesome listeners, because let me tell you, every time I speak with one of you, I'm like, wow, what a great person. It just enriches my life, this podcast. It's so meaningful. You just can't even imagine. And let me tell you another secret, that I always attract the type of people that I truly love to hang out with. So we have so many coaches, therapists, social workers, amazing artists, regular moms and dads who are just kick-ass, amazing parents, people. And you guys don't know this, but I give you so much credit for the hard work of parenting. Because if you're listening to this podcast, if you're calling me for a 30-minute session, if you're working with me, that to me is huge, because you are so advanced already in this parenting game that it tells me that you have this growth mindset, that you want to improve and learn and evolve. And it just makes me so happy and grateful that I am with you here on this journey. Thank you so much. I just have no other words but say I'm very grateful, humbled that you're listening to this podcast. We reached a big milestone this year, the 100th episode, and that is one of my favorite episodes, hands down. Why? Because again, it was audience participation. I just loved connecting with every one of you, hearing your feedback. It gave me so much confidence and validation for what I'm doing is right, because sometimes I have doubts. And so you proved that, yes, this podcast is worth making and producing. And yes, Anna, continue on. You gave me amazing feedback. I incorporated some of your suggestions already. Tina, thank you so much, my lovely friend from Chicago. She suggested that I create collections for your listening experience, to get the most out of your listening experience. And that was the best idea ever. You can go to my website, authenticparenting.com/podcast, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you can see that I have made 4 collections. And because we have over 100 episodes, as a new listener, you probably listen from the latest episode. You find the podcast and you just start listening. But let me tell you, we have amazing guests, excellent content. I would really feel badly if you missed that. So go to that page on my website, check the collections, and pick and choose what you want to listen to. I said this before, this podcast is a big happiness booster for me. It enriches my life in many impactful ways. I have grown too. Oh my gosh, I can't even describe the things I have learned about myself. It will be a whole nother episode, so I am going to skip that part and just say that I have learned that everybody, it doesn't matter a big shot or a small shot, a big name, and best-selling author, everybody wants to connect deep inside, wants to share their story, and we all have this innate ability to be open, honest, vulnerable, and authentic. It's a need, and it's hard to get there. It's hard to open your heart. But given the right circumstances, the right timing, I feel like everybody deep inside wants to open up and share that with the world. That was very humbling for me this year. The power of vulnerability, it connects people, it builds intimacy, and just opened my eyes on this concept of authenticity and vulnerability. And maybe I will dig deeper a little bit and do a special episode on that. But it was truly an amazing learning experience for me. I have learned about myself. I haven't learned, but I knew this about myself, but it got more solidified that I genuinely love people. I truly love people and I do take interest in everybody's story. I love everybody. I work with parents, with people, and it just my natural state. I love people. What can I say? And every time a guest comes in, it's a new thing for me. I love getting them know. Sometimes a guest is a new person for me too. So I truly love that I can have this opportunity to deconstruct someone on the podcast and get to know yet another wonderful, amazing human being. What was interesting this year also was almost every guest who left the podcast interview emailed me back or messaged me and said, Anna, that was the best interview I have done. You ask such deep and wonderful and unique questions. One of my guests emailed me and said he had a breakthrough on my podcast. Another guest posted this amazing message on Facebook that she came to the podcast to share a specific thing about her work, but soon she realized that I wasn't interested in her work all that much. I was interested in her as a person, and she says that it was the first time that she took a look like that with fresh eyes into her own story, and she connected some dots. And that was truly powerful. Another guest emailed me and she said, wow, Anna, this was the best interview I have done. You don't ask those regular questions that other interviewers ask. And my father listened to my interview and he said that was hands down the best interview you had done. Who was that woman, Anna? And this was a consistent message this year. And it got me thinking a little bit. I mean, what am I doing differently? But again, it comes down to my genuine interest in people. I don't have an agenda or, sometimes the guests send me questions and say, this is the topics I talk about. But I politely put it aside. I am interested in them from a different angle, and I hope you appreciate that too. This year, I also learned again and again to let go of perfection. Listen, it's never going to be perfect. The introduction, for some reason, is very hard for me. By now, you would think I am like perfect. Hello and welcome to Authentic Moments, blah, blah, blah. But it takes me sometimes several times to get it going. Take a listen. Please enjoy this fantastic interview with Max Rivers. Boy. Whoopsie. This is not done? My guest for this episode is Dr. Corinne Seeley. Sometimes I talk to myself in Armenian. And I said, when we give time and space to our children, why is this so low? I invited his parents' attention to the child's play. I also had to let go of the fact that I am not a native English speaker, that English is not my mother tongue. It's not even my second language. And it's okay. At first, I had a hang up. Sometimes I mispronounce words. Sometimes I don't say things correctly. Sometimes I even misuse words. And if you ask my husband, he would say that I even create my own English words. At first, I was really devastated because there's so many grammar snobs out there who might be listening to my podcast and criticizing me. But thank God no one has ever said anything. And thank you for that. I think it's my passion that counts, that matters, my message, right? And I know many of my listeners are foreigners too. So that makes me feel a lot better. So it's okay. I am not a native English speaker. I have an accent, even though I sometimes think I do not. But ask my daughter, the snobbish kid, she would say, Mommy, this is not how you say this word. She would correct me. My husband has accepted and he understands me from a half sentence, even if it's wrong. So I kind of got used to that kind of treatment. And when I'm with other people, sometimes I mispronounce things or say things incorrectly. People look at me like, huh? What did you say? Can you say that again? I'm so used to my husband getting me. But it's not always the case. So I let that go. I can't have that hurdle, right? Because I am passionate about this work and I have this strong message to share with you. So I am going to continue. People ask me if I have a favorite episode. Truth be told, every time I record an interview, I say to myself, oh my gosh, this was the best interview. This was the best episode. And I guess I like all of them. You know, as I said, I love people and we cover different topics. So I do not have a favorite. There are many favorites. 100 episode was my favorite because it was very special. Another episode that was one of my favorites, and it is in the top 15 most downloaded episodes, is the Father's Day edition. It's the Father's Day episode. I am looking at my phone at the moment and I'm scrolling through the titles of the episodes, and I have done so many amazing interviews. As I said, we started the year with the final episode, and it has funny bloopers too. Then I had Parenting Through the Storm, which is all about having special needs children. Ann Douglas was my guest. She's written a book, a really good resource for parents, and it was a really wonderful episode. Next, we had How to Eliminate Limiting Beliefs. That was a wonderful episode with Shelley Lefko. We had so much fun. Another one of my favorites is Ask Me Anything, episode 58, back in February. I really loved connecting with my listeners and answering so many of your questions regarding parenting, podcasting, personal life. That was a good one. Then I have the incredible Mark Wallin, the author of It Didn't Start With You, about inherited family trauma. This 2 episodes, it's a 2-parter. I had a chance to meet Mark Wallin in real life. His book, his work changed my life. I worked with him. So Mark is a special person for me. And this episode is mind-blowing. If you have not listened to this episode, and if you're interested in learning about this subject, inherited family trauma, it's truly an eye-opening episode. And I'm surprised it's not one of the top downloaded episodes. We talked about relationships this year, and I even have episodes about authenticity, finding purpose and meaning in life for women, for mothers. We talked about self-care a lot this year too, and I have a few great episodes. One of them is with Susie Lula. Another one is with Jen Riday and Laura Coe about authenticity, finding meaning, purpose, and trying to live, the life the way you want. Another wonderful guest was Stuart Shanker, Dr. Stuart Shanker, on self-regulation and stress. That was a great episode. I truly enjoyed. If you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen. It will give you a lot of understanding what stress does to you, to your body, to your well-being, and children as well. So highly recommend. This year, I had my daughter twice on the podcast. Once she interviewed me for my birthday, and another time when we came back from Armenia, I had her on the podcast to share her impressions. We went back to Armenia. I went back after 12 years, and it was her first time going to the country, but also meeting my dad, her grandfather, for the first time. And it was a very, emotional experience for me in many ways. So if you haven't listened to that episode, if you want to hear my daughter on the podcast, she loves being on the show. So you can listen to those episodes. I also had one of you on the podcast. Isabel, if you're listening, she's one of my very loyal listeners. Her episode, unfortunately, is titled Listener on the Show, which is not an interesting title. I have to go and change. But we talked about many things: transitions, moving with children from state to state, how to talk to children so they will listen and cooperate from a practical standpoint, because Isabel is a mother of 6. It's a really good episode. Then I had Joshua Black on the podcast, and we talked about loss, grief, and grief dreams. He's a researcher. He's researching grief dreams. And that was a very mysterious episode. If you have not listened to that, wow, something really mysterious happened at the end of the interview. We basically didn't have a chance to say goodbye as we were speaking about the very same fact that I didn't have a chance to say goodbye to my mom who was killed in the earthquake. And he was mentioning that he didn't have a chance to say goodbye to his dad. And in that mysterious moment, something happened to the recording, to the software, to the podcast, and we just disconnected and we couldn't connect. And so I had to leave that episode unfinished, just like our stories. So that's a pretty mysterious and meaningful, again, an eye-opening interview. As I said, there are 2 episodes that have impacted me. I learn things from every episode, don't get me wrong, but the 2 episodes that truly impacted me are You Stuck in the Past? With Cynthia Mazzaferro, and Are You Living an Authentic Life? With Heather Chauvin. With Cynthia Mazzaferro, in that episode, I talked about my story, and Cynthia sort of did this therapy/coaching session with me. And it was then that I realized that I have a very bad repeating pattern in my life, taking responsibility for everybody, doing everything responsibly and things of that nature. The same theme showed up in the episode with Heather Chauvin. So after I recorded those episodes, I knew there was an area in my life that I needed to make change. It was very hard, but I did it and it felt really wonderful. So those 2 episodes, those 2 amazing women truly impacted me too. I was able to say no to something, to step into my conviction and made that big change that was needed in my life, that was sucking me dry, and I was being a people pleaser and not liking it. I created a boundary, and that was the best thing ever. So this podcast is changing my life too. I would love to hear what has changed your life? What episode, perhaps, a guest or a concept? I would love to know that. Please get in touch with me, send me an email, call me. I am approachable. You can call me and talk to me. Or better yet, this is what I would recommend. If you have been a listener of this podcast for a long time, or even a new one as a fresh listener, take a moment and write a review for the podcast. We have almost 30 reviews, and it's kind of sad because I know there is a ton of listeners and we have many downloads, but why aren't you writing a review or giving me a 5-star rating? If you like this show, if you listen to it, if you have something to say, please take a moment and write a review. You can do it right now as you listen to this episode. It's very easy now, right from your phone, right from the podcast app. I don't know which one you use, but I request reviews for the Apple Podcasts because that's the one that is helpful for the podcast. But if you want to write a review on other platforms, you're welcome to do so. I would highly appreciate that. Moving on, another episode that has truly changed me, moved me, was the episode with Bridget Miller. My dear friend, Bridget Miller. The episode is titled The Hardship of Uprooting and Establishing a Life in a New Place. It's a very personal episode for me, and that was the episode that I recorded before I went back to Armenia after 12 years. It was emotional. I even cried on that episode. So if you want to check that out, that's a great one too. Bridget came to share a different message. Truthfully, we had coordinated together to have a different show. We wanted to talk about something different, but somehow this episode just naturally happened. I always go with the flow. I'm a very natural person, and this was one of those episodes that it was meant to be something else, but it turned into something else. So then I released 4 episodes from the archive when I was away on vacation in Armenia. great episodes, and they are in the top 15 downloads, I think 2 of them. And of course, we talked about trauma this year many times, and those are my favorite episodes as well. So if you haven't listened to those, definitely check that out. I also shared my story on the podcast. I was a guest on Joshua Black's podcast, Grief Dreams. And since I never told my full story to my listeners, and I knew it's a painful subject, I don't like talking about my personal story. It's not a pleasant topic to talk about, but he interviewed me and it was an in-depth interview. So I decided to share that episode with you. I haven't received your feedback. I'm not sure if you were able to listen to it or it was too painful to listen to for you as well. So I also shared my story. And now let's take a look and see what were your favorite episodes based on the downloads. But before I do that, I would like to play a couple of bloopers for you. And sometimes I have visitors, creepy ones. And this is how I reacted. Don't laugh. She's a new mom, and on this podcast, we will talk about how she went from being a... What the heck is this? Oh my gosh! A bug! Sometimes unexpectedly, Siri starts talking to me. When I'm behind the mic, sometimes I wonder, hey, is this thing on?
I found a number of matches for Wonder.
Shut up, Siri. And I just love the moments, the very natural, true, authentic moments in the show. And it happens quite often, but here is one that happened just the other day. Wow, this is a very good conversation, Laura. I thoroughly enjoyed your insights and your sharing.
Sorry, that was a loud door. We can edit that out, I hope.
That was the closing of the conversation in a very...
Sounds like a haunted house door.
In a theatrical way, we closed the door where the trauma lives.
Exactly.
So it's okay. I can use this as a blooper. Look at the two people talking about serious stuff and laughing and having mystery sound effects. Sometimes I sing to myself when I successfully finish the recording and oops, I forgot to end the recording. Let's see. Oh. And as I said, sometimes it is so hard to get started, and with my accent and not being a native English speaker, I struggle sometimes. Hello and welcome to Authentic Moments, a podcast that gives you ideas and strategies. Strategies. It's hard. Strategies? Oh my gosh. And now let's go over the top 15 most downloaded episodes of the Authentic Moments podcast. Before I go over the list, I want to say, don't judge the podcast episode by its title. It's so hard to come up with a catchy, SEO-friendly title that also tells you what's in the episode. I have a very hard time with this. So I normally name the episode based on some aspect of the interview. And it usually doesn't tell you a lot about what's inside that episode, but usually there is so much goodness in the episode. So please don't judge the episode by its title. Go back and listen to them. You will gain so much great information, inspiration, tips and tools and practices. We have this ample amount of greatness in all of them. Number 1 on the list is the Father's Day episode. I said The title is What I Have Learned from Being a Dad, 10 Honest Stories, Beautiful Reflections, and Powerful Insights. I had a chance to speak to 10 dads, conscious dads, parents who are practicing gentle parenting, got to know them, and it was one of the hardest episodes to make. And we had a ton of technical difficulties. I lost some of the interviews and we had to re-record some of them. Oh my gosh, it was devastating, but it's one of the top downloaded episodes and it's one of my personal favorites because we don't see dads, talking about conscious, gentle parenting. And that episode is really wonderful. So listen to it yourself if you haven't. Share it with your partner, with the father of your children, or someone who you think can benefit from that episode. Next on the list is how to control your anger with kids. And of course, judging by the title, you can guess why it's on the second place, right? I don't want to say much about this episode, except it's a great one with the parenting junkie, Avital. She's very passionate about learning about different parenting styles, and she's a parent coach herself. In this particular episode, I asked her how she handles a sibling rivalry in her home with her 3 children. And she goes step by step. It's pretty powerful. So take a listen. Number 3 on the list is how to be a more conscious parent by changing the way you speak, with my lovely colleague and friend, Lori Petro from Teach Through Love. And this is similar to the monthly special episodes. So if you love the monthly special episode where we share some story from our life, our parenting fail and mistake example, and then we try to analyze and say what we could have done better, this is one of those great episodes. Next on the list, number 4, is how to stop yelling, right? So again, another great episode all about mindfulness, wanting to stop yelling and what can you do? How can you teach mindfulness to your children with my lovely friend and colleague, Carla Numberg. Check that out. Number 5 is childhood trauma, reclaiming your authentic self. Again, another great episode with the trauma therapist who shares his story of bullying and how it impacted the trajectory of his life and what he does today, and childhood trauma basically, and how to live your authentic life. And I love his definition of authenticity. It's a pretty powerful one. Number 6 on the list is the benefits of negative emotions. Again, this is one of those episodes that I didn't know what to title. And I choose just one small aspect, in fact, and based the title on that aspect. It's with my lovely friend and colleague, Hunter Clark Fields, whom I met personally in real life. I have been on her podcast. She has been on mine twice, and it's worth listening. It's a very lively, dynamic, and packed with a lot of great stuff episode. Number 7 is Why Kids Misbehave, a monthly special episode. So if you haven't listened to that and you love monthly special episodes, this is a good one. I think we even answer a tech-related question in that episode. Number 8 on the list is Are You Stuck in the Past? I mentioned this was one of the most impactful episodes for me personally, and I guess you guys like it too. Number 9, what I have learned about my and other families by living in a trailer for 3 months. In this episode, I speak with Aaron Schiller, who is a coach. Aaron just at that time came back from a 3-month road trip with his family, and he shares freshly his impressions about their trip. Aaron first showed up in the Father's Day edition episode, and I invited him to share about their experience. It's pretty unique, so take a listen. Number 10 on the list is the hardship of uprooting and establishing a life in a new place. I spoke about this earlier. Worth a listen. Number 11, healing from trauma with Christina Louise. This is one of the latest episodes. If you haven't checked that out, worth a listen. She really shares her story so openly and vulnerably and tells how she has gone through the healing journey, what she did first and next, and what it entailed for her, this healing. We often hear, right? People have a healing story, but this is a great episode. Number 12, why you might be feeling negative, tired, and overwhelmed with the sleep doctor, Crane Seeley. She shares some cool facts about brain and sleep. I love that. And she's a new mom. She shares her experience, her expectations before motherhood and after. She started a business when her baby was 6 months old. What? So yeah, it's a great episode. And I guess people love the title. The titles like this get the most downloads. I guess we're all tired, overwhelmed, and negative, and we want to stop yelling and controlling our anger, right? Oh my gosh. Those are the episodes that get the most downloads. So we need to repeat them, right? We need to have more episodes like that. Number 13, we're getting to the bottom of the list, guys, is Getting Unstuck 5 Simple Steps to Emotional Well-Being. Again, a recent episode, one of my favorites with Shira Taylor Gura. She has developed this technique, this method, when you get stuck on a particular situation or an emotion, when you get hijacked, how you can do this mindfulness practice, 5 steps, and get yourself out of that situation. A really powerful one. Number 14, from punishments to gentle parenting, raising 6 kids in South Africa with my lovely, lovely friend, child advocate, gentle parenting advocate, Lilia Scott. If you're listening, Lilia, I love you so much. She's so passionate about spreading the word about gentle parenting. In this episode, she shares her own personal story. She didn't start from gentle parenting. In fact, she did use punishments with her 2 children. She has 6 children, and it's so wonderful to listen to her beautiful accent, and you will be inspired by this story for sure. Number 15, how to find and maintain happiness no matter what. I guess at the end of the day, we all want to stop yelling. We want to manage our anger with our kids. We don't want to feel tired, overwhelmed, and negative. We want to feel happy. So I hope you have listened to those episodes. If you haven't, go back and give it a try. And that was the most downloaded list. And now let's take a listen to your definition of authenticity. I asked you to send me a voice message by answering this question. What's your definition of authenticity? And guess what? Only 2 of you sent me your voice messages. I want to know why. Why didn't you send me your definition? I want to know. No, I'm just kidding. You're free to do whatever you want to do, but I want to play the 2 I received, and there is a surprise message as well. Okay, let me tell you. It's from my daughter. I recorded her by asking her what's her definition of authenticity. Let's take a listen.
Hi, Anna. Congratulations on your 100th episode. For your question, what does authenticity mean to me? I'm going to answer it as showing up 100% without filter. You just heard my son saying ba-bump, ba-bump, and the others are laughing. I'm actually trying to record this in the bathroom so that there's not much background noise, but they're still making a lot of noise, so that's authenticity for me. I'm recording this despite everything that's happening, just showing up. So there you go. That's my definition of authenticity. Showing up as I am, 100%, no filter.
I was reflecting on your question of what is authenticity. For me, it's really authenticity is listening to your inner voice. being in tune with your inner voice, because that inner voice is always innocent, telling the truth. And when you're in conflict with the inner voice, you're not authentic. And that's when you're unhappy, you're confused. So for me, authenticity is taking the time out and listening to your inner voice.
What does it mean to you?
I mean, there can be authenticity in different categories can be one.
What do you mean different categories?
Because for some people, they need categories.
What does it, when you hear the word authentic, what does it mean?
Authentic actually means authentic leather. It means it's real leather and you can only find it from this place. Yes.
But for a person, for example, when you say...
you could have something authentic about you.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Like a special talent or something that nobody else has. I mean, other people can have it, but yours is special. Because nobody's gonna have something. For me, I'm really good at cooking. No, decorating. I'm really good at decorating. I mean, other people are really great at decorating, but if we have the same materials, me and somebody else would definitely make something totally different.
Yes.
But I'm really good at decorating, and it means authentic. I'm authentic in decorating, which means everybody else can make something like that, but never exactly the same.
Never exactly like yours.
Exactly.
So, if you were to summarize based on this example, what does it mean?
It means that something authentic about you, you could be you, but nobody else will be you. You can be anyone you want to be, but nobody else can be you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that good? That feels good?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you are you?
Yeah, of course.
What makes
you should probably get Leah for that episode. She's definitely Leah. Leah's really unique. So.
Leah is definitely more authentic.
Yeah, she's unique. No, maybe she's being kissed or something.
My daughter was sick, and you can hear my husband in the background watching football. I just love how my daughter answered that question. From the mouth of a child. True words, right? Be yourself. Be yourself. Tune into your own natural gifts. You are unique. Remember that. Don't compare yourself to others. And just shine and be yourself and enjoy being yourself. What's that quote? There is a quote. I don't know who said that, but it says, be yourself. Everybody else is taken already. Going into the new year. Looking ahead. What's coming in the 2018? Not much change. I promise I will not do crazy things on the podcast because based on your feedback, we're doing great. You love the content. And let me tell you, I have some amazing guests that are going to appear in 2018. I have already booked my appointments with them. I have planned the entire year. Well, planning is one thing, executing my plan is another, but hopefully I will have enough stamina and energy and passion to keep me going. I do take the podcast seriously and I care about you. So let's learn and grow together, shall we? Please consider supporting the show. It makes a big difference. I don't have advertisers on this show and I don't want to bring some advertisers. I don't like them on my podcast. It doesn't go with my brand, but I can use some support because it takes money and time and effort to produce the show. So if you feel like you would like to donate to support the podcast, you can always do that by going to my website, authenticparenting.com/podcast. And on that page, I have a yellow button that says donate now. Anytime you can go to my website and give from the heart. It's not the amount that matters. It's your intention. It's your way of saying thank you. And it gives me, again, courage, encouragement, validation to move forward and keep going. Because sometimes It's not easy. Sometimes I question myself, and when I don't get a lot of feedback or reviews or things like that, I get caught up in this ego state, and I'm like, is it worth doing? My numbers are not so high. It's not getting where I want to be. And sometimes I just want to quit. But I know when I get a message from Tinu, from Anna from Switzerland, when I speak to some of you like Melissa, I had a phone conversation with Melissa for over an hour. It makes me feel like, no, I am doing the right thing. Or my lovely listener, Audra, I truly adore you. We work together, but I want you to know that it means more than work for me. So she sent me this email the other day, and it just touches my heart. So please support the podcast if you can. If you can't, you're still a listener, and I still love you the same. And write a review. That helps too. Or share the podcast with people in your life and make them be part of this community. Spread the message, and let's help children. Let's help parents. So this is the mission that I have. I have some wishes for you as we end the year and we go into the new year. And these are things I want to live my life by as well. I want to wish you to be present in your life more and more and more, and savor each moment, each day. Savor your children, savor your relationships, each other. I want you to play more. Give your children ample time to play and express themselves, to have time and space to daydream, be bored, create. Stay off of Facebook and Twitter and social media. Gain your sanity. Pay attention to what truly matters. I also want you to simplify your day, your life, your relationships, your schedule, your activities. Many people set a word for the year, and this year I am thinking maybe I should set a word for the year. So I have never done this before, but I want to do it this year. Want to join me? Once I come up with my word, which is kind of hard, I will post it in our Facebook group, and I would invite you to join me as well. Feel free to do that, and let's see. What are the words we want to live by? Set intentions for the 2018. Prioritize self-care. Sleep well, eat well, exercise, do yoga, meditation, pick up a hobby, connect with your relatives, talk to your friends on the phone, meet people in real life in person. Stay off of Facebook groups and online life. That's what I'm going to do in the coming year. That's what I have been missing and craving. And so that's my intention for the year. And I would wish the same to you. I do not intend on making big changes to the podcast. Again, things will remain the same. Only awesome guests and great content. Keep an open mind. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. You don't have to like everything we share on this podcast. Send me your feedback, suggestions, and comments. I am always open to receiving them. And as always, connect to the present moment, to yourself and your children. Much love and light to you. I love you, my dear listener. A big warm hug to you. Be well and know that you are an awesome parent. And you make a difference. Together, we're making a difference in the world. Happy New Year to you. Happy 2018.